Hello, Mr. S Podcast Snooker lovers. This is the first time ever we are recording in the morning, and because of that, in advance, forgive us for every single mistake, but it should be like this, it's the best option. I think for now, this is the biggest name we have, and if we do once again next year and next year, it will be even bigger name, and I hope maybe you will crown this all podcast for this year and next years, because we have one of the world's most famous coaches, and that's Patrick Joseph Nolan, or mostly known as PJ Nolan. PJ, welcome.
Thank you so much, and it's been an amazing time. So I thank you so much. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you. That will be my first word. Before we continue, we need to introduce why are you here, because previous 4 days we spent in the club every day almost for 12 hours doing coaching sessions with I think more than 15 players, but the 6 of them were in focus. And we are so happy, a little bit tired. They improved, we had fun, and everything I think was good for everyone. But from your perspective, like, was it a good idea, good way of thinking, improving, learning, feelings?
Yeah, I think I was amazed with the talent. There's a lot of talent here. So if they develop and they train and they're guided properly by you or by a coach, then I think success is more achievable. I think that some of the players, they come maybe normal days and they don't work as hard as they could work. And I think in the last 4 days, I think they learned how to train. And now they understand the drills and the games and the match play. And I think then they have a bigger chance to, and it might be easier for you now to guide them even better.
Yeah, I need to use now that motivation. But with kids, it's always tricky about it because it don't last so long. Maybe next week will be the crucial one, but it's a summertime. Some of them will go to the seaside or something like that. And they can easily forget that level, that intensity of playing. And they want to return to the comfort zone, like to be, I will do a practice today. Is it over? Okay. But we need to start that fire inside of them, find that sparkle. Like one day I'm expecting they will come and say, Marko, today I want to work so hard, give me whatever you want, I want to improve.
Yeah, that's the magic for a coach. I think that on the first day they made certain scores, and then you saw it that they came in the next day and they tried to beat them scores. That's the goal for every coach, to have that motivation. But what I would say to players is that the motivation has to start with the player, not the coach. Sometimes the coach wants to give it more than the student wants to give. But I think like you're saying, I'm a good coach, but I have good students around the world and in Ireland, and they train hard. Okay, they might need my little help, but they do the work. And then when they play the tournaments and everything is good, but it starts with the player. The player has to be smart. And I think if you overdo the practice, I think sometimes you can disimprove. Yeah. I think if you do less practice, you don't improve. It's getting that balance. And the balance is, you've got a beautiful country, beautiful weather. So it's not about, doing 12 hours a day and not doing it nice. I would rather 4 hours of good and then go with your family and go for a walk, go for a run. Something to change the atmosphere. Because you can train 6 hours, but it has to be structured. Yeah. And I think in the last couple of days, I think the players now understand the structure.
And I think it really sounds good that if you need 4 good hours, it's better when you say that to them, because when you say to them 6 or 8 hours, they are fear, like, whoa, no, I don't want to do all the time just this. And for me, also that's a solution. Do it for 4 hours, but if we see that you're coming so strong and powerful, then maybe for some special tournaments we can reach that to
Yes,
5, 6,
correct.
whatever.
Yes, yes.
But it's also important school on the first place, and on the second place to be all around man. Just try to figure out what is your topic, what is your thing in life. Maybe it's snooker, maybe it isn't, but also our job is to be honest and cut that time that can be wrongly spent in some maybe some of them are not for snooker, not my students,
Yes.
but
Correct, no, 100%.
yeah.
And I think that, you could do 4 hours practice, but then you could also read a book on sport. It doesn't have to be mental sport.
Yeah.
But what did Lionel Messi? What did Ronaldo do when he was young? Because then it'll give you motivation to do something. So it's not about on the table. I think off the table. I think if you ask me my big champions, I think off the table they had the fantastic balance, but on the table they were animals. They wanted to achieve all the records. They wanted to achieve their personal breaks. They wanted to learn new drills. They wanted to understand how to analyze a drill, how to make it even harder. So like you could clear the colors, but you could also clear the colors from the cushion every shot, and we did that this week. It's very difficult to pot every ball from the cushion, but if you need that shot and you've practiced it, then it's more easy.
Yeah, and I really want for them to understand, like, whatever is the exercise, because we had really some hard, and they're like quitting immediately, not because they are aware that they're not prepared for that. They're like, no, the exercise is stupid. Give us something. No, it's not stupid. You're not prepared for that.
And I think after we explained why and a system to do it. Like example, you have a student that is a 10 break player. If he moves the white ball by hand, he can make a 50 break. But after he makes the 50 break, he feels special because he made a 50 break, because 10's break is his normal. But what he has to do then, he has to learn how to move the cue ball. But I would rather him move the cue ball by hand, and then he makes 50. He's a better player.
Yeah.
And that's the secret to me improving somebody.
Yeah, we need to make that system that they are improving step by step, but in their worlds. Like every single player has its own world. No one can do the same. For some, the highest break is the aim goal, but for some of them, cue ball in the hand is also break building.
Break, yes.
And if they are better just 1% than yesterday, they are happy. And that's the main thing.
And that's the main thing. To be better, and what I said to your boys, I said to them that if it's the next 6 months, every week they have to say to themselves, I'm better than last week. And if you're not better than last week, then something is a little bit wrong in the program.
Yeah.
The program's too difficult, the program's too easy. So he has to talk to you and to make feedback with the coach, because when you tell a coach something, the coach should and hopefully has the answer. And if he hasn't got the answer, then he has to find out the answer. But if the player doesn't ask that question, then it's more difficult for the student to improve.
Yeah, and I want to push them to think like that in about every single part of the life. Am I better today than yesterday in anything? Am I more relaxed? Am I more in whatever? Just be something more than yesterday, because they are young and they think, okay, I have time, I can spend 1 year, 2 years, whatever, my time will come. But this is the time, especially in snooker. You have 12, 13, 14, 15, you can already can be a century player with the good results. But okay, we are a young community and they are not aware still that it's already a time. And it's hard to admit, like, oof, maybe I'm late.
And I think this week I pushed to the limit because I wanted to see your good players. I wanted to see if you push them out of their comfort zone, what happens. Because when you go to the European Championship, they are out of their comfort zone. They're playing against the elite of the Europe. So if we can train them to be that when they come outside their comfort zone, they're still keeping the same cue action, keeping the same shot approach, keeping the same tempo. But you could see it when you pushed them hard, they were getting a little angry. And if you get angry, you get faster. And if you get faster, you probably miss more. And then when you miss more, you feel bad. So you sit in your chair, but it's learning how to make this part. That's the part. And I think the best players, they're smarter. They understand the process of learning. Learning is the biggest thing in snooker. Me as a coach, I learn every day I coach. If someone says that PJ is a good coach, PJ learns. I hope. And like I said, I hope this week your players understand that it's not about the coach, it's about what you do and how you do it. Not about this coach, this coach is good or this coach is bad.
And there is a little mind trap, because if they make some success on a high level, I don't want to say they will forget us, but it's their success. But if they make mistake, the first person they will think about, it's coach. Like, maybe you didn't do your job well.
I have a saying when I do the EBSA courses, I said that the coach is like a pencil. On top of a pencil, there's an eraser. Our job is to fix any mistake, but their job is to do all the work. And sometimes the players want to move on to another coach, and you have to thank them, because everybody is in this journey. The coach is in the journey, the players in the journey. The player, many players like your players, they have big dreams. But if you see Hungary and you see Latvia and you see countries like Poland and all this, they broke through. I really, after this week, I feel that Serbia can do the same, because the talent is there, but they have to have the belief. Like the Bucu from Hungary, he broke through to win a European Championship, and he won it twice. Now he's won a World Championship. Now he's professional. The boy from Latvia, he's now. But if you said this 10 years ago, I think they would say that maybe it will be Ireland, maybe England, maybe Scotland, maybe Belgium. But now it's more open, because I do believe that more information is out there for the players. The coaching is better. The facilities are better. Like, you have superfine cloth. Most clubs don't have superfine, so don't have the balls being polished twice a day. So your players are bigger advantage than they think. Maybe they think they're from Serbia, that they are kind of behind everybody. But this is as good as any place, and the lights as well.
Yeah,
So.
Thank you. And this week they just tested the part of that life, like 8 hours in the club, and they're broken, and then they are tired, but there is more time.
Yeah.
Why to sit? Go practice again, and again you're angry. Maybe at the end you're successful, but that's for 4 days. Imagine 4 weeks.
Yes.
Imagine 4 years.
Right.
And when they see the result, they see only the result. Like, for every sport, Ronaldo is the best. Look at this goal. But what did he need every single day? What he needs to do to be on that level? No one is thinking about it. No one is thinking about the work, or just that journey. It's about destination. Are we here? Yes, we are. What's the next one? Yeah, and that's not life.
Like, even in Qatar, the world champion is 31 years old, but he started with me when he was 10 years old. That's 21 years. And I think sometimes the parent might want the destination to come fast. But usually the destination, it took 21 years for that boy to be the world champion, but he wakes up this morning as the world champion. 21 years. Like, how many hours he practiced, how many matches he played, how many coaches he had to listen to, all the advice. And then he wins the world championship. And the boy that beat him, the boy he beat in the final, he then won the WSF. So, it's so difficult to win at the highest level. And winning is probably, sometimes people only see the winning, but sometimes getting to the quarterfinal is a massive. Like, you made last 16 in almost. So if you can almost make it, then you can make it next time. And you lost to the English number 1. So, like I said, if you told me 15 years ago, Serbia would almost beat England guy. I don't think it would happen, but now it's possible.
Yeah. If you told me 6 months ago the same, I
Yeah.
would tell you.
Yeah, no, it's true.
We need to split that amount of everything, because now if I say to them 21 years, and if I can guarantee you will be a world champion for 21 years, they will be afraid and
Yes.
yeah.
No,
We need to split on the small amount, like today this
Correct.
part, tomorrow that part, and after some period you will get results. But don't think about everything.
No, I think the 21-year part is for the parents and maybe even the coaches, because some coaches maybe think that they can make somebody. But like you have a boy that's 13, okay? I have had a boy at 13, example, and in a flash, he's 21. Them 8 years go so quick. Now maybe it's because I'm getting old, but it happens so quick that they go 13, they go 20.
Yeah.
And the period of that time is that if they learn how to lose, because I think to win you have to lose first, and how you lose. Like even Julian Boyko, he would have said to me like that, I never lose, I learn. And if you have that motto, then it's a much easier, because you're always learning. And if you're learning, you're taking one step at a time.
Yeah.
The destination is if you go one step at a time, you will get to the destination. But there'll only be one world champion. There'll only be one champion. There'll only be... So that journey of guaranteeing something, nobody can guarantee it.
Nobody can, but
Yeah.
even if I can,
Yes.
they will be like,
Yes.
maybe it's too much for me.
But I think the mindset for the player is day by day. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and like some days won't be your best. Like some days you come, like if someone come and they have a bad session, I don't feel that they're a bad player because of that session.
Yeah.
I look for, in that bad session, did they keep their focus? Did they keep their shot discipline? Did they keep not angry? Did they sit down? Did they drink water? One thing that I would say to your guys is that they have to sit down more and drink water when it's not going perfect. So they just relax, almost like, and if you watch the professional players, they sit in the corner and they drink water when the other guy is playing, but also when the referee is setting the balls up. They're not standing all the time. And one thing that snooker players do a lot is they stand a lot. But sitting down and getting up, and that approach from your seat to the table, I think that's an important part of learning how to do it.
Yeah. And what are you thinking during the sitting?
Exactly.
Is it about the frame, that one, or result, or school, or girl, or...
Correct. And sometimes they're thinking about technique, where I think that if you're training, you can think a little bit about technique. In a match, just play. Just do what feels is your best way. But during the practice is where you can develop all the good fundamentals. And I would say that most of the top players, they play free and they play their best. It's when they're overthinking everything, then they don't play their best. And that's the one you look for.
Yeah. What about you? How did you start to be a coach? Did you first start as a player?
I was a bad player, but my brother was, when my brother started playing, he was 10 years old. And so I started coaching him. And I said, from 10 to 20, I have 10 years. It'll be the easiest, because I thought he was very good. But there was a few players in Ireland that were very good. And one guy called Robert Murphy. And he was the best. And I feel my brother was the second best. But we couldn't beat him. We beat him once. But this guy was one of the best juniors ever. And I started coaching my brother. And then some people asked me. And then in 1997, at the World Championship, Terry Griffiths came to Ireland to set up the Irish coaching part. And I was the youngest coach that time. And so he qualified, I think, 6 people, and I was one of them. And then I became Irish coach, and then everything else was after that. But the first part was, I used to play a little, but I wasn't very good, as everybody knows.
Okay, but tell us your highest break just to...
I have 127, and I have 99 in tournament. But that was a long, long, long time ago.
Okay,
You know.
once it's
Yes,
comfortable.
yes. No, but I've had centuries, and like I said, I've won tournaments in my local area, and I love snooker. Snooker's given me a lot. But if you told me that time that I would have a living from snooker,
Yeah, who can
no,
believe
it's
that?
not possible. Not possible.
And what was your first big success like? If you split your line of moving up to some levels, what about those steps? What's making your coaching sessions or your coaching status moving to the next level?
I can tell you my first big win was an Irish under-14 championship. I couldn't believe he won it. His name was Tom McKeown, and he was one of the top players that time. And I think that the idea of, if you told me 20 years ago that my coaching was good, I would probably say, yeah, my coaching's good, my programs are good. But now I look at them programs and I go, they're not good. And I don't think my coaching was that good. But I think that when my players improved, I think I improved. I think, I think in the EBSA we have a good course, and in World Snooker they have a good course. And I've done the Chris Henry course, and so I think all the courses make the player or make the coach have the tools to do. But I don't believe any course is going to make the coach the perfect coach. I think you have to work at it. So you were training with me, you get the tools, but now you have to work. And all the experience of working with good players, medium players, and high players, that's the way the coach will learn the best. And in mine, when I was the Irish coach, then I went to Qatar, and I worked with the best players in the Middle East, and we had good success, but not amazing success. I thought we would have more success, but we didn't. And then I've come back to Ireland, and I'm the Irish coach now, maybe 20-something years. But I think the answer to that question is like, I would say that I learned from every student, and you learn from every session. So you could have a session with a low-level player. The coaching still has to be high class.
Yeah.
He has to feel like Ronnie O'Sullivan. If he makes an 8 break and then that's his highest, he'll tell his wife, I made 8.
Yeah.
He'll tell his mom and dad, I made 8. But if the guy makes 147, that's his highest. And we have to make everybody feel special.
Yeah. That means that started with that win under 14, but for now, if you need to pick the biggest success in your coaching career?
David Hogan won the European Men's Championship. So he was one of, Jason Devaney, he won the Pot Black in the Crucible. Other players have won many Irish championships. Shaka Ruberg has won the European Championship. And like countries like Israel, they don't win European championships 15 years ago. He made the European semi-final like so many matches. And I was there when Mohammed Shahab won the gold medal in the Asian Games. So I've had some good success, but there's other coaches that had maybe more success, and
I wanted to let them know, for those who
yeah.
don't know what are you doing and with whom you're doing, they need to know those names. Plus, there on that list you have plenty of seriously good players, but that professional world really has a small doors.
Yeah, very. And like I said, Aaron Hill won 2 European championships for Ireland, and Josh Ballou won the European Championship. So they were great days for Ireland and for myself. But it's like, I'll give you an example. I would coach a player to make his first quarter-final in European Championship. And that's special to me. Or a guy from Bulgaria make the semi-final of the European Championship. That's important.
Yeah.
So it's all about, understanding what the player's journey is. The coach, okay, some coaches want to win. I want to win, but I want the player to learn and enjoy and to develop. And if they develop properly, then we will have success.
What about the mental part of coaching sessions, can you say to us something, or for the start in percentage, like how much about it every single session? Because I think higher you are, the working is going to a little bit lesser level, but that mental side needs to be more and more, like watching matches, talking about it, analyze, preparing, thinking, everything aside of doing on the table.
I think that the mental part is probably the biggest part of snooker. Okay, people say to me that I want to have the perfect technique, but they don't even think about the mind. And I think that sports psychology now is more than 50%. So some people say it's more, but if you imagine to tell a boy it's 50% important, then all of a sudden they understand that there isn't one way for psychology. But what I would say is that eating, sleeping, and drinking water, I think, is part of preparing your body for the work rate that you need to do. A lot of players don't drink enough water. And if you don't drink enough water, then your body looks for something and you get more tired. And the idea of, if you said to somebody about tennis, you play tennis, but you sit down. It's when you're sitting down, what are you saying to yourself? How is your self-talk? Are you saying that I'm a bad player? How did I miss that black? How did I play that stupid safety? But if you're saying it in a constructive way, you're saying that, I feel I'm playing well. I feel I'm relaxed, and that's the difference. I think in the training part, that's where the coach will just put the pressure on the little drills for the elite players. For the beginner players, you're looking just to build them up, but you have to test the other player. If the player wants to do something in the European Championship, you can't be their friend. You have to pick the drills that are not so easy. But I said it here this week that if they can pot one ball, I want two balls. So even on the hardest drill, they will pot one ball, but can they pot two? And then the next day, can they pot three?
I hope you change that way of thinking with them. I'm trying the same, but numbers are good for them because they want everything to be countable and can be compared. Like, how much did you do? Me, I did more.
Yeah.
And that competing is making all of them better. And that's really good because whatever you can measure time after time, you can see, is there any improvement or there isn't. There is no lie. And snooker is a sport you cannot lie to anyone. If you are a bad coach, they will see that. There is no way you can say something and then snooker will forgive that lie and do some favor to them. That's impossible.
I told your players one thing this week. I told them that if you have the colors on the spots and you clear the table, you make 27 break. If you do it 10 times, you make 270 break. If you do it 20 times, it's 540 break. But I told them the highest break in my academy is 2,078 points. That's like the craziest number in the world. The problem is that it took 15, 20 years for this number to go up and up and up. So I said that nobody would break 500, and then someone broke 500. And then I said nobody would break 750, but then someone broke 750. I said nobody will ever break 1,000 break, but somebody did. And then it went 1,200, 1,400, 1,800, 1,900, and then someone broke 2,000. Nobody's got close to the score. But I do think that in here, if we can make this breakboard with some certain drills, I think it will motivate your guys that they look up, okay, you have your normal breakboard, and you see Julian Boyko with and then you're coming second. But sometimes that's almost like Mount Everest, where I think if we can make some drills, even for your normal players, if they can have their name on the top three on a certain drill, they're going to be more proud.
Yeah.
But you're going to come in and go, I can beat that. And then you're going to try and beat it, but then the other guy's going to come in and say, I can beat that.
Yeah. And it's, I think, better for all of them than to have a highest break. It's like the first sentence always, my name is, and what is your highest break? but it's not a good way of measuring. Much better it's that option, like everyone can adapt that exercise to them, to their level. We can split them in some grades, and then they can compete each other, and like that they will improve. We have that handicap tournament, we call it like that, maybe it's the wrong name, it should be advantage tournament. We split it all the players in 9 groups, and before you start you need to give or to receive some amount of points to have 50-50 chances to win. Because of that system we made that single puzzle that we were missing. Like we had 4 good players and we had 50 bad players or beginner players, and nothing in between because they are too good. What to do with 4 players? Nothing. We have plenty of them, but what to do with that kind of level? And because of that advantage system, now we have middle, and from that middle you will have a new good one. 10 years ago, I think we didn't have any century players. Now, if I don't lie, we have 7 or 8, I think. For 10 years, not bad at all. If you ask me, for 1 year or 2 years, we will have 3 or 4 more.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's really good. But also, they need to understand 100 break is not winning the tournament. It's good, but I can tell you, I had some, and I lost after that, and I know that some of my opponents had some, and they lost against me.
It's only a number.
Yeah.
And I think for your boys, like even Chris Henry does this in one of his training sessions, you start on 50 break. So if your boys can make a 50 break, they make 100, but the number becomes easy. So if your players make 120 breaks, but they really only make 70 because you start on 50, mentally, the next time you become 60, 70, 80, 90, you feel nothing.
Yeah.
But there's one player here that he got to 90, 99 maybe, and he got a little bit nervous. If this happens more, but if we start him on 50, 60, he will make more. So the number, I think he made 140 break in one of them. But that's what, if we make that number, the number becomes easier.
Yeah, and that is really the crucial part about the highest break. If you have 140, definitely that means you can make 70 easily.
Yeah, and I think
that's true.
And I think the guy that makes 140, if he's going to do some drills or he's going to play frames, I would love to know what was the average break, or if he did it 5 times a drill, what score did he get in total?
Yeah.
Because the good guys can make 1 good break, but if the medium player, if he can make 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, that's 200. If the guy can make 120 and then 10 and 8, well, the 50 break player beat him because he made 200.
Yeah.
And I think they to understand that, and even in the match play, I think that I don't know how much practice safety your players play. They understood this week that it's the crucial part.
Yeah, and the name of the game.
Is snooker.
Yeah, it's
snooker.
not potting.
Potting, exactly. And again, you're, like I said, you and the other player,
Vasily.
he gave an exhibition of how to play safe.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
But the best one will be against me and you.
Yes, that's right. That challenge is coming, and I'm sorry I have to beat you, but I am the worst player in the world.
I will forgive you.
But I have to win today.
Do you know any good recipes or routines from your player aside of the table? Like, I know now you are running and your goal is to run a marathon.
Yes.
Do you have in your plan, like, which year, next one?
No.
Or for 2 years?
Maybe 3 years time.
3 years
Yeah,
time.
I have to keep. I'm on 10K now, so hopefully 20K next year. So then I keep adding to it.
Okay, good luck. If you pick some interesting city, I would like to follow you on that one.
Okay.
Because I need a new challenge of running.
Okay. Belgrade is so hot, it won't be Belgrade, I think.
Yeah, but the marathon is during the April. April is nice in Belgrade.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know some of my players are doing something, let's say some other sport in the meantime, but they don't have any kind of routine or rituals or whatever before tournament. I have some, and I want to share that with them, but they're, I don't want to say still young, because we don't have enough time to always read that like, we can do this, but they're too young, it's not time. It is time already. But do you know some recipes, like do
Well,
their players run or?
all I can say is Ronnie O'Sullivan is the greatest player. What does he do?
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at Neil Robertson, he looks fit. If you look at Trump, he looks fit. If you look at Mark Allen now, he looks fit. I think the fitness part is part of the makeup of a successful player. If a player is eating fast food, or the player isn't, and it doesn't have to be fat, but unhealthy, you need to have the stamina to play even a European Championship, to go through the groups, to go to the end. If you want to win, you have to be strong, and strong mentally, but strong physically. And I think anything, going for a walk, I would say to a player that going for a walk in fresh air is probably better than doing an extra hour on the table, because you're freeing your mind. But maybe you listen to a podcast on the walk, and then if you listen to a podcast on the walk, what kind of a podcast? Maybe it's snooker podcast, maybe it's the mental podcast, maybe it's about fitness, maybe about nutrition. So I think it's like a jigsaw. The coach can only give the information. So what I would say to every coach is that as long as you give information to your students, it's up to the student to want the information. Maybe the student wants a different coach to give more information, and that's okay too. But the idea of you trying to give information, that's what you have to do, and that's where I started running, just to try to make me, because I can't talk to my players and say to my players that I would love you to do some fitness, I'd love you to do something, when I wasn't. So that's why I changed.
That's the best knowledge, experience knowledge.
Yeah.
And they love that, because if you can make a century break and you are searching, you want for them to make the same, they will respect that more, because they know you already made it. And if you tell them to run and you are running, they will respect that. In Serbia sounds better, but to say that with a full mouth, like I'm standing behind it because I did it and I know what it is.
And there is some coaches who can't do it. Like, I'm not very good player, but you can still, you have to demonstrate something.
Yeah.
So this week, I think your players were blown away because I played some good shots. Yeah.
And that's enough. It's
that's
a one
enough.
shot, but
that's
one
enough.
attempt.
Yes.
Out from nothing.
Yes.
Heavy one. Did it. It's enough. I saw their faces like, how did you?
Yeah. But if you believe you'll do it, or you will do it just to impress, then it's part of it, So, like I said, to me, the connection between the player and the coach is a very close one, and I can see the way your guys are with you. I do think that's important. I think if the player is willing to listen to a coach, and the coach is willing to listen to the player for feedback and give positivity, then I think it's a mixture. It's a recipe for success. But if the player is afraid of the coach, or the coach is afraid to be hard on the player or be easy on the player, then I don't think the player gets the most benefit from the coach. So it's like a perfect relationship. That's
what about that border? Do you have any red line between job, but I always want to say love instead of job for snooker, and private relation with the students? Is there something that is like not doable because it's better for both of you not to happen?
I personally don't, but I wouldn't drink with a player. I wouldn't go out with a player. Maybe go to eat, but I do think that in safeguarding now, you have to be very careful what you say and what you do with especially underage. What could happen is that you could have a student and you go and you eat something, but then somebody might say you did something, or you said something.
Especially these days. They
Okay,
can say anything.
and if the coach is innocent or maybe guilty, then he doesn't have anything. So if I was going with one of your players to eat, I would bring you with me,
Yeah.
or his father.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so or if you're training, you would have somebody. You have cameras, so it's perfect. So have cameras here, because there is bad people somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I do think that it is a bond, and I hope my players look at me as a friend and a coach. And but when we on the table, there's no friend. I'm doing a job. He's willing to give me his time to practice, and then I have to be professional on the table. Off the table, that's the one that you have to be very careful as a coach.
And you told me about many proofs. How many weddings did you visit?
Yes. So the last 3 weddings I went to were all my snooker players,
Yeah.
and so like it says, they get old very fast. These were young boys, and now they're married with children, and but that journey happens very fast. Like I can't believe how old I am now, but it's like it's scary, because I think 55 in my old was very old. Like
But
I
now
remember,
you see.
now 55 is like young.
Yeah.
You know, if someone told me when I was 20, 55, that's like retirement. That's, you know, and I don't know how more I will be coaching, but until players don't want me, I'll keep doing it. And but it's an exciting period of snooker now in the world, when you have the Latvian, Hungarians, and Poland on the main tour. Like it is getting global, and I have to say, World Snooker are doing an amazing job on doing it. I feel that in Ireland we have an amazing academy. We have a new board. We're doing our really best to promote the game, to develop the game in the schools, and hopefully more players will start playing in Ireland, and then we'll have more players playing at the national level, and we'll have more players playing at the international level, because at the moment we have Karen Hill, we have Ken Doherty, Fergal O'Brien's retired, but he's coaching now, but they are our 3 biggest players on the main tour-ish, yeah, but I'm hoping that in the next few years we will have 1 or 2, because when we see Hungary and Poland and Latvia, we're a little jealous, because our juniors are very good. I think we'll develop the players more. I think having the academy in Ireland is one of the best academies that I've ever seen, and I think that we have to give the players now the chance to really develop. You know?
Before I ask you about opportunities to come and practice with you in Ireland, in your hometown, can you describe us a little bit the situation in Ireland, like how many players, how many tables, which tables, conditions, just that we can make that picture, because we think everything in Ireland is perfect and they are just waiting for new players, but we don't know the numbers. We think you have 2,000 players.
Okay, so in Ireland we have maybe 50 juniors in total, under 14, under 16, under 18. And in men, usually at our tournaments we would have 60 to 70 players at our tournament. Okay,
Nice.
Some of them would be elite. We have 3 divisions. Okay, so like your handicap, we don't have handicap, but we have different divisions. So we have a challenge and a century, and then elite tour. An elite tour is for everybody. The century tour is for everybody outside the elite, and the challenge tour is for everyone who's never played for Ireland. So it's a nice system. In the academy in Ireland, we have 4-star and 4 Shender. Before that, we had a club with Shender tables. Most clubs in Ireland have normal tables. They don't have Riley tables, or they don't have star tables, or Rasson tables. Normal tables. Some tables are very good. Like we have a thing in Ireland called like a Catholic club, or a men's club. So basically, they would have 2 tables 3 tables, 4 tables. But I think the average number of tables is probably 2 to 3 tables. And like the conditions are good. Like obviously you can buy the new cloth now and you can buy, but many clubs now are struggling with the cost of everything, the cost of electricity. So it is hard for the clubs, but we do have a very good setup in Ireland with Snooker and Billiards Ireland, and I work for Snooker and Billiards Ireland. We have the academy, we run all the tournaments, we run the coaching, we run the camps, and then the clubs then are members of our association, and then we have a board who work on developing the game and all that stuff. So in Ireland we're very lucky because our government do support Ireland in funding. We get a grant every year to achieve all our goals, you know. So
nice. If someone wants to practice with you, what are the options?
The options, they can come to Ireland. Like I said, I work in Ireland, okay, 90% of the time. And so basically players could come over and if they wanted to spend 2 or 3 days training with me, they can in Ireland. So in Ireland, the academy is in Carlow, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from Dublin. But it's a beautiful place, and like I said, there's so many coaches around Europe now that they don't need to come to Ireland. They could come to you, and that's how I see it now, because I trained you, and at the moment we have 100 EBSA coaches, and I can see the coaches are improving because the players are improving. And it's almost like, I'm not saying that there's one way to coach, but there's only one way to support the players, and that's with their heart. I think if the coaches support them with guidance, good help, I think all players of any level will improve.
Yeah, I wanted to meet the main guy from Latvia, and I saw him in Sarajevo the first day, and I was just prepared to talk with him, but he needed to left because I didn't know anything about Latvia, about their snooker scene. And then 1 player, 2 players, 3 players, and I fell in love with Žižins, like on the table. He's like my kind of player. He has something that my eyes are stick to him. He's attacking all the time. He's
Yes.
playing smart, and whenever you open that break list, he is on the top. And I was like, okay, this man is doing something.
Yeah.
And I heard some stories, and definitely one day I need to reach him because he found some system, but for me it's easier to compare with him because if you say Serbia and snooker abroad or Latvian snooker 2-3 years ago, no one will say nothing because they don't know. And he found some recipe to start that out from the scratch. And what about, do you know that the history of Ireland snooker scene or no government association, whatever, when did you start? And in my mind, I believe you were part of the highest snooker level from the beginning.
I think Irish snooker around the 1940s started, and we've always had very good amateurs. Like Ken Doherty was our famous player. I think Ken Doherty is still the greatest sports person that I've ever met.
He's back again.
And but for the amount that he did for our country, he made our country very famous. You're saying Ireland is famous for snooker. I think Ken Doherty is part of it. I think what Fergal O'Brien did in his career is amazing too. But we've had like Rodney Goggins, who's won the World IBSF Championship. Like I said, Josh Ballou won the Europeans, David Hogan won the Europeans, Aaron Hill won the Europeans. So it's like we do feel that we are very proud of what we have achieved. I think the board and the government who support us, I think they have a lot to answer for too, because without their support, I don't think we would have achieved. Now we have our own academy, which is, I think there isn't many associations that have their own academy. But comes the academy, you have to run it, and everything has to happen in the academy. But I think, like you said, the size of Ireland is not so big. We only have maybe 5 million people. So in England they have triple, quadruple that. Okay, so the amount of population. But I think the Latvia story and the Hungary story, and the Poland story, and many other countries in Europe, in Belgium, example, they have caught up on Europe, on England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. When you run a European Championship now, I think 15 years ago, I think the winner was going to be from Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales.
Yeah.
Now it could be any country. It could be Lithuania. It could be any country. And it's not a shock anymore.
Yeah.
I think players are playing Q Tour. I think Q Tour is fantastic for as well, because it gives the players around Europe the view of who is the next champion, the Dylan Emerys, all these players that are coming through. And so they will play them and watch them and see them. And like Dylan Emery fell off the tour. I thought Dylan Emery had an amazing season.
I played with him once, and I
Yeah.
didn't know who he is. I lost in decider, went to my room, and I was like, "Phew, almost.
Yeah.
One yellow was the important one, and then 3 months later he became the world champion under 16. I was
Yes.
like, that
Yes.
was an opportunity.
And then he became the European champion, and he went professional. And I thought he had a fantastic season, but it just shows how hard the game is. But he's on the Q Tour now. He's in Q School and all of these events. He'll be at the European Championship, but just shows how hard the game is. To like I said, he's an amazing player. I have worked with him, but he's an amazing boy, and hopefully he'll be back on the tour. And Wales have a lot of players like Liam Davis now that came through.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think Wales is one country that hasn't got a big population, but they've had amazing snooker players like the Ryan Days and the Mark Williamses and the Dominic Dales and Jack Joneses and all these guys.
Yeah.
So to me, the one that probably has more is Wales. Wales would be the one that, because England is so big, and then Scotland have obviously amazing with Stephen Hendry, John Higgins, Steve McGuire, Graham Dott. They've had an unbelievable. So I think Ireland, we can keep our head up high because we have achieved. But it's all down to hard work by everybody in Ireland.
Do you think that Pro Tour is some kind of mirror with a delayed effect? Because for the first time ever we had some champion out of the Ireland, Scotland, England. That was Luca Bracel. But I want to say, I hope in the future years we will have more. I think it's better for snooker to have more, and at the same time to have the highest quality, not to decrease the quality.
I do think that it is becoming harder and harder to win. Like Luca Bracel in that championship was amazing. He potted everything, yeah. Like I said, I think the only 3 people from outside is Ken Doherty, Neil Robertson, and Luca Bracel.
Yeah.
So that's how hard it has been, and it's been running 30 years or 40 years now. I think it will change. I think that the players are coming through. I know people say that there's not very good talent coming through. They haven't been at an amateur tournament. They can see it. The only issue is that the current top players are so good. They're like the Ronaldos, the Messis, the Maradonas.
Yeah.
It's very hard for the new crew to come through to compete against them. But at one stage, the old crew will not be here anymore, and it'll be just a new crew. And I do think that the main tour will have more players. I know World Snooker are holding different qualification tournaments, so you will have a player from Egypt, and you will have a player from America, and it's like the game is growing so big, and I think that part of growing the game is great for coaches, because that means there's more players watching, there's more players wanting to learn, there's more players understanding the game a bit more. I think 25 years ago, nobody would say to you to be fit to be mental, you know. But now the mental side, the physical side is so crucial, and the coaches now understand that this is going to give your player that 1% advantage.
One question I just invented, didn't think about it to ask you before. The youngsters are always about maybe I didn't improve in previous 3 months. I need a new cue. I need better this, better that. But can you tell them like it's not about that? One part it is definitely, but if you have some ultimate cue, maybe at some point you will start to feel it's not just for you. You will have more sense to feel it, but they need to relax that part of thinking like you have everything you need to have. It's not about anyone except you.
What I would say to that player is that if you haven't improved, get a piece of paper and write down all your scores the last in the month. And then, so example, a player is practicing and he writes down all his scores. And then he comes to me and says, PJ, I haven't improved last month. And I look at the paper and I go, can you see the scores from last month to this month? But what they're looking for is they're looking for their high break. They're looking for many big breaks. But if we add up all the scores and we add up the scores from last month, it's actually better this month. But they don't understand it. And also, I would ask them to watch some movies on YouTube for the mental side, or watch some snooker matches to see the tactical stuff, or how Ronnie made breaks, or how Mark Allen made breaks. And so they've already learned how to watch better, how to analyze it better. Sometimes I would ask the player, I would say that you would pause the movie on YouTube and you would ask them, what do you think they will play here? And they said, I want to play the blue up and down. And when we play the movie, the professional plays a different shot. So then I would ask the player to go and play the shot and see what they think. Okay? And all of a sudden then, so they mightn't have improved their score or their break, but they've improved as a person. They've improved and they're asking better questions. You know, if a player says to me, I need a new cue, Stephen Hendry had the worst cue.
We know the story,
Yeah, and it isn't about the cue. I would say that it's having a tip on a cue, having a good tip on a bad cue is almost okay. Having a bad cue and a bad tip, okay. So then you talk to the coach and said, can you play a shot and just feel I feel something is wrong. And sometimes the tip is loose. So that's why they don't feel it. I think the way that cues are made now is that it's very, very unusual to have a really bad cue now. The cue makers from Thailand, China, they're all making cues. Obviously, the English cues, and there's an Italian guy who makes a brilliant cue. Sabetta. There's a fantastic Irish guy who makes the cues. The condition of the cues now are so good now that people get jealous. People get almost like, I want that perfect cue.
When we see the pool scene about the cues, it's crazy. I wish never snooker world will become pool in that part because it's just unbelievable about prices and about dynamics of changing, like 2,000-3,000 euros plus the small jump plus the break, and then I'm not just for this one, let me take another one. And in snooker world, I think it's not like that, because if you have one that it fits you, you can do it until the end of your life. For it should be like 700, 1,000. Now it's different, but that part of science, it's not so included in snooker. Still, it's a wood, especially when it's one piece. There is no anything more like C4, C5, whatever.
I think Sean Murphy said it in something I listened to lately, is that if you tell a professional sports person that a snooker player has one cue, and if anything happens that cue, it's almost like part of his arm.
Yeah.
Okay, but in pool they have different shafts, and you could go to a shop, like in golf, would play with one club. But if that club breaks, he can go around the corner into a shop, and he can get fitted for exactly the same club, and then the next day he plays and it's normal. If that happens to a snooker player, it'll take a lot of time, because even the same cue, the same make,
It's not
the same tip, the same everything, it's not the same.
It's a wood. It's a live thing.
Yes, and but I do think that having a spare cue is a good idea. And I think one thing I do say to my players is that you have to know what tip you have. If it is a G3 or whatever tip you're using, because if something happens your tip, you need to have one. And I think in your case you should have a spare tip exactly the same as what came off. But like, it does take time for a tip to bed in and to get used to the spin. But I do think that like technology is improving in this way. I think the technology of making the cues, you know, even the ferrules with the titanium ferrules now, some players like it, some players don't.
I play with it, yeah.
You play with one, yeah, okay. But you said to me that like where you hold the cue is very smooth. But when your hands get very wet, you said to me that why cues don't have a grip.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they didn't, because it just makes logic that if your hand is sweaty,
Yeah.
then your hand, yes. So, but it's just tradition, I think.
Tradition.
And I think there's a cue called tradition, and it's a brown cue like the Ronnie cue, yeah. And that's kind of, if you said to me that's what the cue is, that's what the people believe a cue should be.
Yeah.
But somebody made a three-quarter cue,
Yeah.
or someone made a two-piece cue, and Jimmy White was the first player, I think, to use a three-quarter piece cue, and now everybody kind of uses it a one-piece. But now the tradition is going back to a one-piece. I know most of my players now, a one-piece cue is what they really want. But maybe 15 years ago it was a three-quarter with joint, you know.
One maybe stupid question, but I want to ask you. The biggest change in snooker was about the game on the table was when Henry started to go into the cluster from the blue. And when I heard that for the first time, I was like, I think it's from the beginning like that, but it's not.
It's not.
What do you think is the next level, or is there any next level? Like maybe to break off and clean the table without opponent?
No, but I think that the way that it's going now is that when you make one mistake, you don't get another chance. And like even this week, we tried a few drills that if they made a mistake, they lost the frame, and they had to sit down. Getting used to making one mistake, again, especially your elite player. If he makes one mistake against the top European guys, he mightn't get another chance. But it's what you say and what you do to yourself in that moment of sitting down. Do you say, do you breathe and do you come back stronger, or do you come? But I think that the cloth and the balls has improved the game, and the heating, like you have heaters on your tables as well. I think that's the big change. I think the tables weren't heated, the balls didn't run so much, but when Hendry came on the scene, he was like 16, 17, 18, and he was winning tournaments. Nobody believed this was possible. But do I think a 16, 17, 18-year-old can win a tournament now? I don't think so. I think the players are just that smart. Their safety game. I think the safety game has improved as well. Even Stephen Hendry says on his channel is that he's surprised that the player of 80 ranking player, his safety is perfect.
Yeah.
And his scoring is perfect. I think making 3 centuries in a best of 5 match is the normal now. Fergal O'Brien has a record that he made 5 centuries in 6 frames. Stephen Hendry done that a lot of times. Ronnie O'Sullivan's done that a lot of times maybe. But Now players in the 40 rankings, 50, 60, they can do it. They do it in practice, so why they don't do it in match?
Yeah. One more advice to the students: preparation before the practice session about table. Are they obligated, your students, are they obligated to do every time brushing, blocking?
In the academy, it's my job. So yeah, but if it's their own table, they have to do it. I remember someone telling me years ago that Stephen Hendry did it. He brushed and blocked his own table and ironed his own table. He's world champion, but he used to do it. I think
it's emotional investment,
and I think the self-discipline of wanting perfect conditions. Okay, you do it. I think you'll feel more proud when you do it. Everybody is proud of their table. Like in Ireland, one table, it's not my table, but
yeah.
I call it my table, but it's my table that I coach. I love this table, you know, and if the idea is that I want it when my student comes, I want to make it so the student says, wow, it played really nice. I think that the technology of even the equipment, the rests, because before they didn't even have a long queue when they started.
Yeah.
But now you can have push-on extensions and everything. So I do think that, the biggest transformation I think in snooker is the tips. Tips used to be very inconsistent. You used to be able to get a tip and you'd play it, but now you can buy medium, soft, medium, or hard,
and really they will perform
and
the
they
same.
will perform the same.
Yeah.
And I think the cues haven't really changed. They're good quality, but the tips in the last 5 years, I can say that that's the biggest one. But understanding which one suits you the best. So try them out. Make sure you're hard. Like a lot of players here have hard tips.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because many players from here are like, doesn't matter, I cannot feel that. But it's not, you can ruin your cue if you change and you put the wrong tip.
But like Mark Williams likes hard tips. There is
Okay,
some players
okay.
that like it.
But he knows what he likes.
Yes, and I think that he would have tried different. So what my advice to your players is to try the range and then to find out which one. But not because you play one break. You might try it for a week and then see it. And also, don't be thinking that there's a magic cue for anybody, because it's not magic cue.
And I need to make them learn to repair the tips, but I need to start from myself.
And that is one thing that I'm good at. I'm good at putting tips on cues. But with your eyes going, it's more difficult to see it now. But understanding how to prepare a table, understanding how to prepare your tip, because I know very famous players, they cannot change their tip. Like even Stephen Hendry used to fly over somebody to one time to France.
It's unbelievable, but it's true. Also, if I have a broken tip, that's it. I need to wait for someone, and it's stupid.
You can't do it?
I can do it. Have a club, I don't have knowledge to change the tip.
Wow.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
but the best one, can you guess, out of my students, you saw him, can you guess who is the best one with changing the tip?
I saw it because I saw it here.
You saw it.
I saw it. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
he has the confidence that he's good at it.
But it was just one day, someone has had a broken tip, and he was like, okay, I can change that.
Yeah.
And I said, no, please, don't do it. No, I can. Once, twice, and 2-3 months ago, I gave him a Majke, and it was perfect.
But in my home, players come from 3 hours drive to my home just for me to change their tip.
It's important.
Yeah, but my wife always says to me, can you change the plug? And I'm not able to change the plug. Or, can you paint this wall? I'm not able to paint the wall.
Hey, you need
so
to
my wife says, you come 3 hours to drive to do a tip. So my wife always tells everybody that I'm good at putting tips, but I am not good at anything else.
You found your...
Found my love. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Any rumors in that high level of world snooker about changings? Like, I will give you an example. We saw 167 potential break in Saudi Arabia. That's some kind of invention. But What about maybe going to another way of dressing, like not to be with a waistcoat and bow tie? What about, I don't want to do it, but let's say jump shot. What about different color of the cloth? Is there any?
I, I, I think the marketing of Matchroom, yeah, or World Snooker, I think that they're looking for bigger opportunities to promote the game. I think the 167 was a nice idea. I think they're afraid to come away from the traditional part, because I do think that snooker is the nice sport everybody talks about. But I do think that there's special tournaments that you could, like. I love the shootout. Yeah. I love the polo shirt. But I do know that World Snooker are bringing out a special, not a suit, but a thing, and I think people can buy these suits. So you buy a T-shirt with long sleeves, and on the back it says Judd Trump, because if you go to any club, you will see players with Ronaldo T-shirts. You will see Messi T-shirts. Well, why we can't have T-shirts with Judd Trump, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Allen, Ken Doherty? Doesn't matter what it is. I'm hoping that in the future we'll have T-shirts with Aaron Hill, because I do think he's one of the best boys that I've ever met, and he's one of the most talented boys, and he's the one that's flying the Irish flag now on the main tour with Ken. But it would be lovely to walk into a club sometime in Serbia and a guy is playing with an Aaron Hill T-shirt.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
It's so logical. I didn't think about it.
And like I said, in EBSA we have EBSA, but I'm very proud that we created what we created in Europe, that to see you coaching with your shirt, and to see all the other coaches all around Europe, because that's our trademark.
Yeah.
But having a Trump T-shirt, having a Ronnie, but have it in that they're wearing it in the match. So it's not like you're buying a T-shirt just to. It's the official one that they're wearing, because I think you can buy, like I said, a Harry Kane English shirt today, the same shirt that he's wearing tonight.
Yeah, and you couldn't believe the price of it.
Yes.
I was just researching for the Netherlands. We had some deal in the club, and I wanted to find one for my friend, and it was like 200 euros, just a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And then I remember the story, Zlatan Ibrahimović, before he went to Paris Saint-Germain, I think that the contract was 160 million. But before he started to play, they already earned more money than that just because of the show.
Wow. Yeah. And like I said to you, I think if they're wearing it in matches, so it's the official. It's the official one. So anybody can make, like, even you can put something on the back of a shirt. But I do think that, I think if the kids, and I think that will promote the sport nice.
Yeah, it's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Never think before. Do you have any strict plans, or you have your system and he will provide you new results and new adventures? Because you went to Qatar, you went to Dubai, you went to many countries to have a coaching sessions, but do you have some wish to be on some other place, like Brazil, for example?
I love traveling. I have to say, being here this week has been fantastic. Like going for running and being in the weather, it was amazing. Yeah, the people here were so nice. So I'm so lucky that when I go away, people treat me good. And but I think, like I said, if you told me years ago I would go to so many countries, and I would tell you, no, it's not possible. But who knows what will happen? Like I said, I work for Irish Snooker. Irish Snooker is not my number one. I'm very honored to work for Irish Snooker, but going away running, because running is my passion. Yeah, going away running and involving it and mixing it in with snooker, this is the perfect for me now. If you told me that I would go to a country just to coach, I think that's not saying I don't want to do it, but it's the other parts that I like, the running part and going out and you show me the city. That was one of the best parts, you know.
And I tried to show you my motorbike, but
No, the motorbike. I'm a little bit big for motorbikes. You know.
Not so good excuse, but let's say it's good enough.
Okay. It will never happen.
Okay. Do you play any frames during the month?
Never.
Nothing.
If any student can honestly tell me that they played me in a frame of snooker in 20 years, there's one player in Italy that I played some frames. Other than that, I haven't played. I'm not saying I don't. I always tell my students that I don't like snooker. I don't like playing snooker. I love snooker. My passion is snooker. But I do play mini games. I do long putting challenges against my students, and but my eyesight is gone. I don't see anymore. So to play snooker in a game is nothing for anybody.
Yeah.
But if a player challenges me, I will challenge them, no problem. Like Serbia versus Ireland today.
Yeah.
This challenge will happen.
I don't have colors of my flag.
No,
but
no problem.
I will put the name
No
just to
problem.
start that.
No problem.
Yeah. Also, one of my students, we were talking in the previous week, and I said to him, like, okay, do you watch professional matches? And he said, no, I don't. And I said, okay, why? They're playing so good. I cannot do the same, and I feel bad because of it. And definitely the cure is watch some amateur games or watch your own games.
Yes.
But it was interesting that for the first time he was so open and honest. And I feel bad because they are so good. And also, that's a problem of Eurosport. Eurosport gave us really big opportunity to have that on the screens all the time, and thank them for all these years and the next ones. But so many people came once, tried. It was not anything similar to the things they saw, and that's it. Back to the TV without playing.
It's a very difficult sport to play. And that's the hardest part for our job.
And it looks so easy.
It looks so easy. Yeah. But don't forget, the greatest players that has ever played the game are playing now on TV.
Yeah.
And like, okay, you could say Steve Davis, yeah. You could say a few more that were the greatest, yeah. But the crew now, they're the greatest that's ever played.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the time.
And this is so people just think it's so easy, and the way Ronnie O'Sullivan makes it look left-handed, right-handed.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy looking.
Yeah, and it's the time now, like globally in every other sport, we have the best ever, but it's not like evolution. I think it's going to be some kind of going backwards. If you see MotoGP, Rossi is gone now, but he was almost more than sport. But when I say someone is more than sport, bigger than sport, the more people knows
them. Even when you say Rossi,
yeah.
I know the name.
And
yes.
But I know a few people like Ronnie Sullivan. Yes, I know him, but snooker, no, I don't know what is it.
Yeah.
And then Usain Bolt made such records, and then Roger Federer, and now Novak Djokovic, Tiger Woods. But we'll see what's going to happen after them, because their names made those games so big. In some other sport, for example, basketball, NBA, okay, we had Jordan, we had Kobe Bryant, but now we have new ones. And the community is growing all around. But I don't know about the other sports, how that substitution will be.
I feel that the sport is bigger than everybody. I feel that the sport will create the new legends. And the new legends will be the legends that people will talk about. Because I think if we were making this interview in 1970, we'd be talking about Ray Reardon, Alex Higgins. You know, and now sometimes they are not mentioned as the greatest, but in the 70s they were the legends. John Spencer, and then in the 80s, the Steve Davis and the Dennis Taylors and the Willie Torns and all these guys. And now, but I do think people live in we say a goldfish bowl. You only see now what you want to see. And I think that like when people say that there's not many players coming through or that the talent is not there, talent is there. If you go to the European Championships and you watch, Ukraine boy, 12 years old, 13 years old, making 100 break, this is not possible years ago. Yeah. Only the special, like the Ronnie O'Sullivan when he was a junior, maybe he made centuries. Mm-hmm. But now it's Ukraine. It's like thing. And then I always talk about Julian Boyko, or Florian Nüssler from Austria. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get on that tour. They're trying to be a professional snooker player. But the effort that they're putting in is as much as any professional player. So if you think that when you're professional, it's like a job, I can tell you there's maybe 50 juniors around Europe that are doing it a job, and they're looking for that one chance. And I think that the Julian Boykos and the Florian Nüssler is that they should be so proud of what they've achieved, because they've achieved now to the top of the rankings in Europe, mm-hmm. and they have a chance to hopefully in the future to go professional, because that would be one of my biggest days, to see one of them or two of them back or on the tour, because I think but there's only 128 professionals.
Yeah. And what do you think about that number?
I think if they can make a living from it, then it's good. I think World Snooker making the 20,000 a year is fantastic, because it takes the pressure off. So 2 years, 40,000, at least then you have some money. But if you lose every match, then you will not be on it next time. But I have coached players that are on the tour and they had to pay entry fee. Mm-hmm. There was no guaranteed money. So you pay entry fee of €200 and you play the tournament and you lose first match, you have no money. But what I would say to World Snooker is that I think if you get £4,000 to win a match, I think it's almost nicer if you gave 3,000 and 1,000, mm-hmm. or you gave 3,500 and 500. I think just having something in the bank at the end of that week makes it mentally better, because some players have stopped because they couldn't afford. Yeah. And I do think that players coming from Europe have to fly, mm-hmm. Have to go 2 days before because they can't afford to go on the day. Yeah. Their queue has to come, with them, not leave it in transit.
It's not easy. Plus
not
visa,
easy.
plus
like
everything.
Visas, everything. Yeah. But you have to say World Snooker have done an amazing job. You have to say Eurosport have done an amazing job. Yeah. I feel that when I was going around Europe coaching, 80% was down to Eurosport. It's in everyone's home, and I think that if the parents like snooker, there's a bigger chance that the student or the young boy, girl, they might want to play, And I do think that the girls' sport, the ladies player, that's improving too. And in Ireland,
it should be. There is no reason why.
No reason. Yeah. And in Ireland, they are trying to get more girls playing. Also pool, mm-hmm. English pool is very big in Ireland. We've got amazing players. We got a world champion at the moment, under 18. So, there's so much opportunities for Q Sports. I think Q Sports is a family. I met you on the course, mm-hmm. and I feel you are a friend. Yeah. But it's all about friendships and all about relationships and all about making that bond that you would see me coaching. Mm-hmm. And you would want to bring me here. That makes me happy, and I can tell everybody this is professional how you made everything, even the schedule and all that stuff.
Thank you. I said to myself, sometimes and somehow you need to be a pro in snooker. This is my way.
Yes, yes. No,
but maybe one day in some other level. We'll see. Yes. I had one question, but 128 players.
Yes.
On Pro Tour. If you compare the last 28, let's say like that, with the best 28 amateur players, how big is that difference? There is no difference.
Even if you go amateur 28, mm-hmm. 64, mm-hmm. no difference.
Yeah.
No difference.
Such a small doors to enter.
And like I said to you, the Boyko and the Florian, if he plays anybody on the main tour, he can win, and win at a high level. You know, the quality of their match play in competition. Forget about training.
Yeah.
Training is one, but competition, their training, their match play is very high level. You know, especially on drills. If drills it's different. So, but in that competition, in that pressure tournament, I think the players can really perform.
Yeah, I saw that in live. That was my biggest surprise for now. Like Boyko was here, also July previous year, and he said to me, "Do you want for your students to show 147?" And I said, "Is it really possible to order that?" He said, "Yes, I can try." And from the second attempt, he did it the Y1, and that opened my mind. He left 1-2 weeks, I don't know. Later, I made my first 147 because just in live I saw it's possible like that.
And 2 days ago, there was 2 147s.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I was in Austria one time, and we're doing a lineup, and Florian said to me, "I want to play best of 5," and I always asked him, "What's your target?" And he said 147. So he made a 147 in the first frame. He made 100 and something in the second frame, didn't get the 147. Third frame made 147. Next one made 100 and something, but didn't make 147. And then the last one made 147.
Wow.
So 3 147s in 5 frames.
Wow.
I didn't think it was possible. But he made, I think, 8 147s that weekend.
But how cruel is this sport when you can do that and then you go to some championship and you don't win it?
But remember, when you do a lineup, it's designed to score.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but what I always say to you is, if you can't do it there, you ain't going to do it at the competition.
No, that exercise you gave us with the 2 openings plus 2 safeties, and that will be the
Yeah, I think, but that's only for the elite player. You
yeah,
know,
because the gap is too big, and they're frustrated for now. But maybe a smaller version of it will be good for them.
And that's what I do now with 80%, 70% of the elite players, because they're so used to doing. Because you can't challenge them with a 147.
It's so good. It's so you saw Vasily yesterday.
Yes.
He was motivated and broken at the same time.
Exactly.
Totally broken.
But I love to see him next week.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
That's PJ, I want to thank you once again for coming.
Thank you so much. I really, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for inviting me and giving me a fantastic week. So it was amazing.
Thank you for all the good words, good energy. You were so professional there, but it's for you, it's always like that. And if it's going to be a next time, it's going to be in a lower rhythm, just because I want to show you beauties of Belgrade.
Okay.
We didn't have enough time for that this time, but next time.
Well, one of my favorite words is inshallah. And inshallah means with the help of God. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.